the Popish Plot. I'm Nate.
I'm Jessica.
And I'm Mike.
And today we're here with the first installment of your October Saints.
And this month, you get not one, not two, but 3 episodes on the Saints of the Month.
Yes. I decided after doing our deep dive in September that instead of just listing 50 million people with named Anastasius the whatever, we would do a slightly more in-depth on few ones. So some of these are saints that you should have heard of before. And some of them are ones that maybe you're like, I don't know that one. But it's all, more in-depth.
It's very much like we did for September, if you watched that. If you didn't watch that, why haven't you been watching those?
Go back and do that now. We presume that they're brand new. They've just discovered the channel. So we're not assigning blame.
All right, that's fair. But if you've been around for a while and you haven't seen the September one...
Oh, you should be deeply ashamed.
You should... You need to go to confession.
I don't think that's a sin.
Look, I don't know that it's... You don't know that it's a sin. I don't know that it's not a sin. I'm simply suggesting for the sake of their immortal souls, don't take the chance. Just go get it. Just go see a priest.
I can't imagine what Father McGinnis would think of this.
Come back with some better sins.
The only sin is lying in the confessional. That's not a sin.
I don't want you to be like the person that I just had to give a timeout, where I gave him a timeout and said, maybe during this timeout, you can learn about the 23 other rites of the church that are completely in alignment with the Pope, because he insisted that saying the creed without the filioque was heresy. And he wasn't going to call the Pope a heretic, but if he wasn't the Pope, he would have called him a heretic for doing it when, saying it with, Eastern people.
You should have just introduced him to Feenyism. And then he could have explored that heresy.
I mean, it's one of those...
What did Mr. Feeny do?
Well, he was
not
Knight
Mr.
Rider.
Feeny. No. We'll do an episode on Feenyism sometime.
Yes.
Okay.
It was Father Feeny, and...
I didn't want to increase his heresy, because he's one of the ones that I made a note of. I don't know who invented... Who allowed him in the group, which is hint, hint, for... The other admin clearly did not look at his page and say, yeah, that's a guy who wants to start the Crusades again. He's totally going to follow the rule to be civil. But anyway, we are discussing Saints of October.
Yes.
Well-known saints that you don't know that much about.
Rabbit holes go in the circular file.
And for October, I picked saints who wore costumes or dressed up in some way. Which, of course...
But not dressed up fancy. Just dressed up special.
So, much like on Wikipedia when they don't have enough information. I get sainted, suddenly I add to the number.
Yes.
People have seen me with costume.
Absolutely.
In case there are new people and haven't seen me every Halloween wearing a costume.
I didn't know she was wearing a costume. It's not Halloween yet, is it? I haven't picked out a costume yet. I was told I was going to have more time. I was going to have more time. There's never enough time.
No, we've got a lot of time.
I assumed you just felt like wearing skull clothes today.
Okay.
I mean, it's a skeleton, but yes. Okay. So we're going to start off with a saint that hopefully everyone here has heard of, because they're pretty well known as saints.
Even if you can't pronounce all the words in her name, you should have heard of her.
I mean, you don't pronounce all the words in her name. She's French.
And because Jess loves this name so much, it would be a crime for either Mike or myself to deprive her of the joy that she gets from saying it.
Yes, our first saint for October is Saint Therese of Lisieux. She's French, so you got to wind her off. That's what I learned in 3 years of French class. She was born January 2nd, 1873 in Aachen, France, and died September 30th, 1897 in Lisieux, France. But her feast day is October 1st. And it was the third on the pre-1969 calendar, and as far as I can tell, it's still on the Melkite Rite calendar. And I don't know why they picked the first or third for either of these. Besides, maybe there's already someone on the 30th, so they're like, we'll bump you to the next holiday.
Now, things you can already discern. St. Therese of Lisieux died in 1897, and she was on the pre-1969 calendar. So, in church terms, she was canonized pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yes. Her attributes are her shoeless Carmelite habit.
She was discalced.
Yep. A crucifix covered with roses. Usually it's like roses at the base.
So many roses.
But a lot of roses, a lot of crosses.
She is the patron of France, Russian Catholics,
Wow.
Querqueia Cesar
In Brazil.
in Brazil. Pilots, florists, gardeners, the homeless, people suffering from terminal illnesses, people with tuberculosis, orphans, and missions and missionaries.
Because she spent her entire life in France, essentially. She lived in she was a Carmelite. She lived in a Carmel. She wanted to go on the missions, but her mission was in her Carmel. But she was so dedicated to saving souls that she is still the patroness of the missions and missionaries.
Yes. Her parents are Saints Marie Azel, who's known as Zélie, and Louis Martin.
So she had the advantage of saint parents.
I mean, during most of her life, she only had one saint parent.
Her mother died very early.
young.
No, but her mom was praying for her up in heaven.
But clearly the Martins had something had something that they were doing that was going right, because her and all of her sisters who lived to adulthood became nuns, and all but one were because all but one
were
became
Carmelite.
Carmelites. Sorry, my glasses were in the wrong
The
spot.
other one was a different order that you can try pronouncing.
Yeah, she just had to be different.
Yes.
Visitandine.
Yes. They had a few siblings that, given how it was ye olden days, they did not live to adulthood. But of the adults, they all went off to become nuns.
So Saint Therese is known for her little way, and she herself is known as the little flower of Jesus. This is
Hence her being a patron of florists.
and all the roses. Described in her book, her autobiography, The Story of a Soul, which she only wrote under obedience to her religious superior.
In which was written in the 1800s.
In France.
Yeah. I feel like that's important because quite often, especially, there are multiple saints of that era and time and place where it's like, this is so 110% extra. That's just how they were back then.
Yeah.
You weren't slightly disappointed that you didn't have cake. You were crushed beyond belief that you did not have cake.
Well, we have to understand, we Americans, even of varying ethnic backgrounds, are raised in an essentially...
And economic ones.
Yeah, are raised in an essentially British Protestant society where we expect nothing, we get nothing, and it is the rudest thing you can do to emote. Whereas the Continentals, no, everything has to be the biggest. Yeah, everything either the best or the worst. There is no middle.
I bet that's why Charles Dickens is so popular. He's like, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times.
Boom. See, he was
Half
right
the story
there.
took place in Paris.
He knew his audience.
But anyway, she's on the list because she is one of the like top on the definitely on this list.
Yeah.
Because she had a great devotion of Saint Joan of Arc.
Wore a costume of her.
Yep. She wrote 2 plays about her and then dressed up in a play being Joan of Arc. And we have pictures of this because when her sister Celine went into the nunnery, she got to bring her camera with her. So there's pictures. Most of them are just a bunch of nuns all dressed in the same habit.
Look, Carmelites!
Yep. There's a whole series of her being like Joan as she's being taken away and sitting sadly at
Hey,
the
they got no
ruins.
shoes. They must be discounts.
Joan in prison.
So it's another opportunity to get a twofer. When you dress up as St. Joan of Arc, you can dress up as St. Joan of Arc, or you can say, I'm dressed up as Therese of Lisieux as Joan of Arc.
Yes. I like that one.
And if you don't want to dress up and you have a friend that wants to dress up, you just wander around with a camera and be like, I am the cameraman of St. Therese of Lisieux being Joan of Arc. Preferably an old-timey one because,
Yeah, but do whatever you got to do.
So that is our first and one of our top 2 most. No one is disagreeing that she has worn a costume outfit.
We have photographic evidence of her wearing the costume. Also, just as a side note, 3rd woman to be named a doctor of the church, which is especially impressive for a woman who died at 24.
And whose main writings we have is her autobiography. Because a lot of the other ones have a lot of writing that's very theologically dense.
Yeah, she only has really the one significant writing that she didn't want to do.
Yep. I mean, not
She
wanting
didn't
to
wanna
do
do,
it and
but-
doing it by holy obedience is like step 2 from being the doorman for holiness things.
Because the superior said, no, people are going to want to know about your life.
They're going to need to know about your life.
They need to know this.
Yeah.
Our second saints are one that Nate has already disagreed with my pointing out that they wear a costume or dressing up of all the guardian angels.
Wasn't this a separate episode?
Nope.
Okay.
We have 3 saints this episode.
This episode.
This is where it came up. So, the guardian angels were created
Because
sometime...
we have very little details about the guardian angels.
That's fair.
Now, I have to disagree with what Jess has in her notes here. We don't know that they were created sometime after the creation of time. God could have created the spirits before he created the physical world, which necessitated time.
Yes, but we do know that it's theologically correct to say that only God is purely outside time, and therefore the angels are in their own separate way inside time, even if they do not, see it the same way we do.
Because all of the angels...
So, in the beatific vision, there is somehow time.
Yes,
in the beatific
it's super
vision, there is
confusing and
somehow
no one
time.
explains it right, but
No, I'm saying...
Nobody really gets how it works. The gist of it, to really boil it down, is that for everything that had a beginning,
They were
there's
created.
time. Yeah.
there was a time before them, so therefore they fit into a time, and they will always, to that extent, exist within a time.
Yes, it's one of those things where theologians who know more about this than me have said it, and I'm like, that seems to make sense, but it makes my head hurt, so I'll go with it.
So God never was created, therefore there was no time before God. There will be no time after God. There's.
I'm simply taking
they were
the phrase "creation of time," maybe wrongly, as the creation of time and space.
No.
That, yes.
We don't know where they were in space.
I understand now that is not the way you were using it.
Yes. And I also stated they do not die. However, theoretically, they could die and then immediately go to heaven. And as they are disembodied spirits, they would have no way of knowing that it was different besides being told. So... I don't know if there's much theology on this, so this is all me guessing.
That's a really weird timey-wimey thing. We can get into that on a separate discussion.
But we do know their feast day is October 2nd.
Their attributes, wings. It's about the only thing that we
Even though
wings and
they don't have bodies.
a generally friendly-ish appearance, because the majority of depictions of guardian angels involve children.
Yes, they might be taking small children across a bridge.
Holding their hand. Yeah.
Anybody who's seen one has seen them as something that wouldn't make them immediately scream until their eyes popped out of their head.
Unless you get to the biblical ones where they're saying, "Hey, fling these fish guts on the fire," or "Sorry, I was defeating the enemies of this different land." But that's they're the patron of the person they're the guardian of, or the thing, as there's, questions on,
Would we describe the national angel as a guardian angel, or is that only for the individual?
Yeah.
So congratulations! You've got one! All we know, or principally what we know, comes from the Lord himself, who says, the angels keep an eye on their little ones, and they also always keep an eye on their Father in heaven. So...
Yes.
Yep.
The feast for guardian angels first happened in the 16th century, and Pope Paul V added it to the Roman calendar in 1615. And they're on this list because, as we discussed, they're not quite the same way in time we are, and they don't have bodies. So whenever they appear to people, possibly walking two small children that represent a boy and a girl across a bridge, etc., they're dressed up as a humanish being.
It is described in Hebrews that you be hospitable to everyone because some have unknowingly entertained angels. Presumably that's because they were disguised as men at the time.
Now, as Jess indicated while discussing St. Therese, St. Therese was the one on which nobody here has any disagreement with her being on this list, because we have photographic proof
We'll show you the pictures.
that she wore a costume. And the reason that she noted that is because I do have some reservations with regards to the guardian angels. I feel that referring to them donning a human form for the purpose of doing a job does not meet, at least according to the way that I reckon it, the definition of a costume. feel free to go down below into the comment section and let us know what you think. I don't think there's a good term there's at least not a good term that I can think of to explain really how I feel their donning a form should be classified.
A guise?
But I would liken it more to a uniform than a costume. They are putting on something in order to do some job.
But I think it also depends on how one is viewing the words costume and uniform. When the Batman puts on his batsuit, is that a uniform or a costume? It seems like it can't really be a uniform because it's not issued by an organization.
That's fair.
It's self-assigned.
There's nothing uniform about it.
And he can change it at will, preferably not to whatever George Clooney was wearing.
Superheroes are generally said to be costumed.
No. I would just say George Clooney's Batman. If you can express levity about your costume as though you were somehow breaking the fourth wall, it's a bad outfit.
The good news is when people later would heckle Shoemaker, it's like, you ruined Batman, he would simply reply laconically, I know, I'm sorry. So at least he knew he'd done wrong.
He did wrong.
All right, so we had the minimum have the Feast of the Guardian Angels on the 2nd. Mm-hmm. They may or may not have worn costumes depending on what you think.
But they do take on another appearance, which I will grant them that since I feel that words fall short of really describing them, while at the same time I feel that the words that we use regarding costumes / disguises / uniforms are all very much too boxed in. Mm-hmm. So I will let this one slide. I just wanted to know, I do have some reservations about calling it a costume.
Yes, and I'm sure you're going to have even more on the next one, because this is the least costuming of the saints of early October, of Our Lady of the Rosary, a.k.a. Our Lady of the Holy Rosary, Our Lady of Victory, and the Feast of the Holy Rosary of the Blessed Virgin Mary, which is what it's called in the Western Rite Vicariate of the Antioch Orthodox Church.
I would just like to say I feel slandered. I feel as though I have been put into a corner and am now being expected to paint my way out of it. This is unfair. To suggest that I would besmirch Our Lady.
No. I'm going to suggest that this is the most... I was really searching here for arguing this is a costume.
I would say yes. The thing is, no, Jess is really reaching with the theme.
Okay.
The theme is gossamer.
Okay. All right. So it's not simply, if he's going to poke fun at the angels, he'll definitely poke fun at,
No, I'm sure there's a lot of saints who dressed up for, various forms of Halloween, Carnival, etc., but we don't have a lot of evidence of it. Mm-hmm. But so I was going with things that had things.
That's fair. So Our Lady of the Rosary.
Well, the Blessed Mother absolutely appears in guises. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
For example, Mary was a real woman who lived in a real place. This is a good time to mention she was born in the 1st century BC. The late 1st century BC. She died
sometime in the 1st century AD, because her kid kind of sort of
he is the
line.
Yeah, so probably at most like roughly mid-century. We know we have pretty good evidence that she's still alive in 44. Mm. But she was a real woman who lived in a real place. She was a Jewish woman who lived in the Middle East at the time of BC AD. Mm-hmm. When she appeared in 1531, she appeared as a mestizo.
Yes.
So we know that she can appear in different guises to properly enculturated to the people she's dealing with. And what's really fascinating, of course, is that there is no particular apparition associated with Our Lady of the Rosary.
Yes. That is part of the problem, because, yes, Mary has appeared multiple different things. This one is one costume. Title.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a title for which there is no direct apparition.
We did a whole episode on this. We also did at least one on St. Therese of Lisieux that I'm sure I'll link down below. But yes. So it's more the fact that this is a feast
Yes.
of Mary. Mary has appeared. She just happened to want to look like an Aztec princess when talking to St. Juan Diego. She just happened to want to look like an elfin princess when in Lasad. She just happened to look like someone who in the future would want to be a cheesehead when she went to Our Lady of Champion. I don't know on that one. But
Yeah.
no, when she was dressed more like a random European.
Yeah.
But as Mike pointed out, born 1st century BC, died 1st century AD. Her attributes
In this particular
under this particular title, Our Lady of the Rosary is. Wait for it.
Sorry.
They're never gonna guess this. I mean, I could give them 20 guesses as to what the attribute is for Our Lady of the Rosary. They're not gonna get it. It's a rosary.
Whoa! I would never have guessed that.
Right? Blew your mind.
How did I not see that coming?
Yes.
Our Lady of the Rosary and her attribute is a rosary. Man. Yeah, I honestly thought it was gonna be a rose, but
No, that's Saint Therese.
Yeah. I mean, she's also usually wearing like blue and red and white and some gold and the one used, but
and
theoretically, any picture of Mary with a rosary could count as Our Lady of the Rosary because again, it's not a vision, so there was not a seer said she looked like this.
And since you probably don't know about her attributes, you're probably also gonna have a hard time with her patronage. But I'll give you one guess.
Is it France?
Quite possibly.
Corned beef sandwiches.
No.
Why not?
Sadly not.
I don't think there's a patronage of any type of sandwiches, or even sandwiches in general. We need
All
to
right.
get on that.
All right, I know what I will be the patron saint of.
I will be the patron saint for sandwiches, bread bakers, delicatessen owners, people who cure meats.
I'm sorry, we need to convince whoever the current Earl or Earless of Sandwich is that you don't want to be in the crown, go ahead and convert. Sure, you'll never become, king or queen, but what's the probability anyway?
Sandwiches.
Yes, exactly.
And then get them to live a saintly life.
Yes.
But I'm just saying though, I will do my best when I'm on the other side and have passed through purgatory to intercede for all matters sandwich.
All right, but we need to discuss Our Lady of the Rosary's patronage.
We do. Her patronage, now that we've let them have a chance to guess.
And
Their minds are going to be blown. Watch this.
Yep.
It's the rosary.
What?
Also multiple places around the world, but primarily the rosary.
And her feast day is October 7th because it was the date of the Battle of Lepanto in 1571, which we did an episode on in 2020. We'll link it below. But basically, a bunch of little church ladies and other people prayed the rosary, and the whole battle completely shifted tides, thus allowing the Christian Church to make a decisive stand against the. I'm going to assume that we are fighting a group that was probably Islamic.
Yes.
Names.
The Ottoman Turks.
The Ottoman Turks. That's the word I was looking for.
We have fought the furniture.
Now, I mean, make no mistake, it is a great thing to put your feet up, but
I someday I have to go look up how Ottoman was a whole empire / a thing you use at the foot of your chair.
oh no, that's fairly easy. Founded by a guy named Osman, so that becomes Ottoman, and then they like to put their feet on things, and we're like, hey, that's a pretty good idea, but we got it from them, so we called it Ottoman.
All right, I don't have to look it up.
Davenport is mysterious.
This is that thing that the Ottoman. This is one of those things that the Ottomans are always putting their feet up on.
Hey, that's a good idea. We should steal that.
Yeah, we should steal that. What do we call it? Well, people are always refer to it as that thing from the Ottomans. So let's just call it the Ottoman.
All right. So we already discussed why Our Lady of Rosary, even though for all the titles of Mary, least costumey. She didn't have to dress up in any way for this.
She didn't even make an appearance. Not directly.
No.
This wasn't even like the time that she appeared to Saint Dominic and gave him the rosary, which already existed but was not popular, so he could spread it.
But we're gonna let this one. But we're gonna let this. We're gonna let this one be on the list because of all the times when Mary has taken on an appearance for the purposes of helping to fulfill her son's and his father's will.
Our Lady is the Queen of Heaven. A queen is just a fancier version of princess. Princesses require lots of costume changes, so she's always appearing in a different costume.
Exactly.
And, not a criticism, and just acknowledging it.
And she is the queen of heaven, therefore the whole world, and therefore wherever she may be, she's going to look like the people that are there because she's their queen.
Mm-hmm. Appropriate enculturation.
Yes.
Yeah. So, those are our very
installment.
thinly connected costumed saints of early October.
Except for Saint Therese of Lisieux. We've
Totally
already
costumed.
discussed like her entire family except for the dog.
I've never heard about this person before in my life.
Saintly dog. I'm sure the dog was very
Never once.
But again, we're not doing obscure saints. We're doing saints that you've heard of but don't know much about.
I mean, even we don't know much about the guardian angels. Like, when were they made?
We don't even know their names. They're very mysterious. It's not for us to know.
Their names aren't important.
I mean, they are, but not for us to know.
Yes, their names are important, but not for us.
We will find them out later on.
I mean, given everything I know about the few angels we know in existence, I assume their names in an L, meaning of God, whatever their name is, but
Note, do not name your guardian angel.
No.
It already has a name. It's not your job.
Now, you can give them when you're praying on them, a level of, like, a nickname, like...
Yeah, Sparky.
My guardian angel. Hey, guarding one.
But always understand, that's just...
Not their name.
That's just how you refer to them.
Mm-hmm. I tend to say my friend whose name I don't yet know.
There you go.
Because I hope I will one day.
Call mine Guy.
Hey, Guy.
I'm gonna need a hand here.
So,
I'm going to say this rosary, but I am really, really sleepy.
Oh, that's the best part about the rosary. Mama will always make up what we do badly.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Would you mind picking up wherever I leave off?
If you could pinch hit, that'd be great.
Anyway, so these are the first 3 saints of October who kind of wore a costume, depending on how you define costume. Comment below with anything we told you to comment below. Mm-hmm. Your thoughts of whether the guardian angels are wearing costumes, uniforms, whether they just put on peopling, which seems wrong. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Your favorite, way that Mary appeared to people, etc. And stay tuned for next time when we'll talk about 2 more saints who may or may not have worn costumes according to Nate's definition.
And sandwiches.
3.
Probably.
2. I wonder what will happen in part 3.
And until next time.
6. Remember to live your faith.
Love your faith.
Share that love.